Yes. Welcome, man. On site again. Tobico Creek. Cardinals. Cicadas. All sorts of creatures out here. Right, so let's talk sponsorship now. If you've ever sponsored, raise your hand. Sponsoring. Giving an individual an opportunity to advance their lifestyle, perhaps, or giving them another chance to try again or to rebuild. To advance is usually the case. In some cases, it's to flee, but it is, in a sense, still advancement, steps forward, progress, and all. Out here in Canada, there's not really a lot of information, let's say online, directly from the Canadian sources, officials, pardon me, about how to execute efficiently a sponsorship application. What I mean by that, and not to pull down the Canadian system, is just that it's really difficult to speak to somebody on the phone. And I mean, I understand they may receive thousands of calls a day, or, you know. However, the information online could possibly be the reason why there are so many calls, and perhaps the information online lacks clarity. Sometimes, even as a native English speaker or a non-native, let's speak from a native English speaker standpoint, it's interesting how it's clearly confusing to many people. Okay, I've had friends who've done it naturally. I've read blogs, I've watched videos, Facebook posts, all sorts of different sources of media on how to actually get it done, and a lot of fingers end up being pointed to. It's an opportunity for the business-minded people who can actually consult. So now let's kind of transition on now, because consulting, any industry has ancillary projects, components, pardon me, to keep it going. And to sustain it and to make it a smooth, enjoyable opportunity or experience for humans, your fellow human. If that is in fact what we are, human. That's another subject though. Submitting the application is not necessarily as easy as typing it in and then just sending it. How? Let me ask you now. If you ever submitted an application, raise your hand again. Yes. Okay, so how did you submit it? Did you submit it by mail? Or did you submit it by mail and I mean pay online, or pay and by mail and pay in person, for example? There's a way to do that. But my point is that you most likely sent it, the actual package, through the mail, because you have to, as far as I understand, you have to. Somebody out there might be correcting me now.
Hey, I just want to thank you all for taking the time to listen. Yes, that's right. So every episode, I ask a couple of questions, at least one. And I definitely look out for your participation.
But as far as I understand, you have to send the physical copy. I don't think you can just do it online. But even so, I mean, you're probably going to have your package sent back to you. You may have missed something. There's a great chance you missed something. or not. You may have spoken to a consultant, or you had exactly what was necessary to get it done, all the documentation, and you did it. You filled in everything correctly. It's absolutely possible. Because I mean, after all, if you download the file, oh wait, stop there. Raise your hand if you download the file from the website, the actual Canadian website. Okay, good. All right, so if you did, great. If you didn't, you probably got it from another site. Why did you have to get it from another site? If you did, it's probably because you couldn't find it on the original site. So it's kind of an issue, But they did a good job, I would say, of responding in a timely manner. I did like that, sending back any information. Clearly, I didn't expect to be replied to in like 7 days or 14 days. They said minimum 14 days. I was like, okay, so it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 weeks. And it was actually 4 weeks. I think a little on the longer side. It started to get a little tense, I'd say. But it came through nonetheless. Now, I don't want to dwell too hard on the negative side, but just to say, get the application from the website. Follow it to the T. Don't even try to deviate. Do exactly what it says. And it's unclear. Trust me, there are moments where it's really unclear. Am I supposed to do that? Do I fill this application out? Do I fill this, this form out? It's slightly ridiculous, to be honest, that with plain English, it's still difficult to actually express what a human's going to do. Everybody's got their own perspective on things, and certain words, even the diction sometimes is confusing. Do you mean this or do you mean that? Because that word could mean two things here. And the sentences make sense either way. Anyway. I think there could definitely be a little more of a human component to it. Or perhaps clear labels as to say, if you are single and you're sponsoring your child, or if you are single and you're sponsoring an individual who's not, you are not, your wife or somebody you're not married to, or whatever, or if you're co-signing or whatever the word is, not co-signer, somebody help me out here, but can't recall it at the moment. Specific word used in the application there. But, you might be representing somebody, and in any case, it's just challenging. I give it up to anybody who got it done right the first time with little hitches. I mean, congratulations to you. Please stand up. Just give them a round of applause. It seems like being back in Brampton, it feels, and funny enough, I've been studying Hindi, and I don't believe it had anything to do with me being in Brampton. It was just felt like the language to start with. One of the languages to I guess continue with, I suppose I could say now, since I learned English at a very young age. Let's go to Hindi next, right? No, it wasn't really like that, but yeah, let's just say we're on to Hindi now. Just trying to get the foundation of that. I really like it, and it's funny enough. Like I actually find myself. Well, I found myself in the midst of a superstar, I suppose I could say, and it's kind of interesting because it's fun when you don't know that somebody's a star. It doesn't really matter who they are. You just treat them like a regular person because they are, after all, human. Whether they are men or women, famous or not. Yeah, so Hollywood is the next destination. Oh, sorry, did I say Hollywood? I mean Bollywood, pardon me. Bollywood, in fact. Bollywood. I'll tell you why. I've always liked the beats, especially with the Bhangra stuff, The beats, man, the different types of beats. It's just like, yeah, you guys, we actually have a lot of physical characteristics that are similar, right? Similar history, in some ways too. So there's history, anyway, as far back as we can date, I suppose. got similar history around these waters, you know. So the music is there, the vibe is there, the beats are there, the dancing is there. We see this. We see this. So for me, the connection's been there from time. Fast forward, was it like 1993, whatever age around those years, you know, started getting more Indian classmates. We didn't really have any Indian classmates where I was from. Very few, you know. Turbans, like I've never really seen people around here wearing turbans. You know, so connected with new friends, new types of vibes, you know. Already understood the culture to some degree. After all, they're human. So they're all human. We're all human, right? Humans. The humans, them. So anyway, you know, the music is nice. I'm going to move out there to Bollywood one of these days. To Bollywood. No, I might have to connect with the Bollywood scene a little more, you know?
Hey, what's up, guys? Bramwood Beetle. I need all of you to run out there, check out the new album I've got coming up. It's called With Version. You can actually pre-order it right now at mrblends.bandcamp.com. That's MRBLENDS.BANDCAMP.com. I'll put a link in the description as well. I want to see those pre-orders. I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you very much for your support.
Straight from the Tobaco Creek right here. Just connect. It's a destination, right? There's a lot of sponsorship going on in these parts here. This is the destination for the people that are coming from their Bollywood to this here Bramwood. This place is the landing spot. So if you're out there and you haven't heard of Brampton or Mississauga, it's possible you haven't. It's understandable. But yeah, learn the language, expand with some people, come to this country here, watch how your opportunities skyrocket. You know, I'm not necessarily a consultant on travel, am I? And on life choices and all. But man, if you're an Indian man or woman, I feel like you might as well come to Brampton. Build from here. You can get a job. That's one of the foundations right there. You start up right there, you're pretty set to go. Of course, you need to be sponsored and all. But you can work on that, right? Sponsorship. You have services around here. Buildings here I see that serve mainly Indian immigrants. So, and such. So, you know, there's the language is spoken here. The comfort is there. The connections are there. You know, it's easy to kind of not so much pick up where you left off from your other country, but at least you know you're leaving and coming to a place where you have some familiarity, if that's what you're looking for, which can lead to some sense of relief and support, and you know, it's not too dangerous or too risky. You know, I know how it feels to go to a country and live and be more or less kind of one of 10, you know, 1 of 10, feeling like that, like out of millions, you know, like just a few of us here. So, and we're still humans, right? So it's all good to connect and move, and, you know, elevate, learn some new things, explore, expand your mind, maybe even kind of close off some other parts of your mind, not so much, but certain other patterns, let's say. So yeah, you know, try some new things and see your ways from a different view. And, you know, sometimes you find some positive gains, some areas to improve on. Sometimes, you know, yeah, it's good to explore like that. So I would do that. All right. I think one thing I can say is that Canadian bureaucracy is thick. When you're trying to get things processed, it takes time. It really takes accuracy and time. it's not that accuracy is, the demand for accuracy is a negative thing. No, it's not. It's just that there's not much flexibility in the way you get it done, specifically in this area. You know, it's like you're kind of left out there with the robots, you know. Interact with the robots and get this back to us. Yes, sir, I got you. You know, perhaps it's the system that doesn't have as many universal agents, quote unquote, who can do multiple tasks within said organization. Right? If we had more of that, then perhaps the application process might go a little smoother. I say that in a different sense, perhaps of other companies I worked at. Something comes to the mailroom. It's just in the mailroom. Within 24 hours, it's got to be out to the next area. Then from there, it's got to be out from there, whatever, within the next 24 hours, or whatever the processing time is. And then if there's an issue with one thing, the signature's wrong here, or the number's wrong, it's like, well, I can't personally change it on the application, but I clearly can see that this is the number. So I'm going to send it back I'm going to send it back, and the next day it gets sent to the mailroom, and then the mailroom ships it out, and then the next day it comes here, then it's shipped, and 7 days, whatever, 3, 4, whatever, however many days later, it comes to your house. And then you're late, and the whole thing's late, you got to send it back again, and the whole thing starts again. It's a bit much, it really is a bit much. If that's all you know, then that's all you know, and you'll deal with it really well. You'll be fine with it. Other experiences in other places I've seen, and being it's just not that way. There are other ways. I think Canada is definitely making steps to be more modern, and more of a future. As a matter of fact, not so much modern, not so much to say that you want to push the ball too hard. You don't need to push too hard. I think we've got all the convenience we need in this world. I mean, we could have a lot more, but we're doing pretty well already, I think. So, but still, thinking of ways to clean up, especially things like our recycling and stuff like that. Canada's projecting one image, but it seems as though we might be living another one. The average person, I would say, wastes a lot of food. Whereas in some other countries, they would eat that same food. They just might cut off that part. For example, I saw a man come through the other day, and he had his hand, amputated, and it was like, man, I just wanted to touch it. Like, I just wanted to touch the arm. The what do they call that? The nub, not the nub. What's the word I'm looking for? Somebody help me out. But I just wanted to touch it because I don't think I've ever really felt that. And I felt a human's bones and skin. Like, it's kind of unique, if you feel me, right? But anyway, he's still functional. He still does what he needs to do. He's got 2 other legs. He's got another hand and a whole arm and a body, a heart. He's still elevating himself, advancing himself as a human, right? He's still with the humans. Cut off the part and down the thing, But I can't tell people what to do. This is how they want to live their life. It's how I want to live my life. If I grew my own food in the backyard or the yard of my estates, or when we decide to do that, when we reach that level, I'm going to grow something, and I'm going to cut off the part that I don't want to eat. But I'm going to eat the rest, though. Perhaps it's the feeling that it's grown by somebody else. If you grew that, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't really want to be wasting it. Just cut off the part. I could be wrong. Somebody help me out. So, is there a reason why I shouldn't eat it? But anyway, let's not dwell on that part too much. I do think Canadians are becoming more aware of their power with that nice blue passport. They're becoming more aware of it and what it means for those who don't have certain options and opportunities. So the ones that are here, that made it here, and that are around us and among us, there's some respect to be given because they probably have to work a little bit harder than you so far in life in general. So just consider that perhaps if you haven't already. All right then. Bramwood.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for checking this one out. Feel free to follow up with us, subscribe, like, download, share, all the goods. We definitely appreciate your support. If you have any interest in replying or responding to any of the comments or any of the questions, feel free to send us an email at bramwoodpodcast@gmail.com. Quite simple. We'll definitely look out for your responses, and in future episodes, we'll discuss some of the responses that we have. The goal is to create a community, so whether we're here to help each other or whether we're here to give each other advice, at the end of the day, we're here for each other. So again, feel free to send an email response to bramwoodpodcast@gmail.com. There's a lot more to come. Thank you very much. Until next time.